Hello, Aquarius. I hope that you're all doing well. We are here with the timeless reading. Before we get started with the reading, let's set the intention for this to be a space where everyone allows themselves to feel seen and validated, and ultimately for this to be a safe space and a healing space in alignment with the highest good. Right, we're starting off with the sun. The Sun and the Ace of Cups. There can be somebody that you're connecting with here. There can be something that you're connecting with. Like, I see Ace of Cups as being connecting on some level, and the context is just going to depend for you as far as like what you're connecting with. It can be a project that you're really into. It can be you watching a movie and really connecting with it. It can be you reading something and being like, that resonates in a very profound way. It can be a conversation that you have. It can be like a relationship, a person. There can also be like more of a desire for connection, and you're realizing that you feel happier when you're connecting as well with the Ace of Cups. I'm seeing the star on the bottom of the deck. That's you. This can be feeling connected with your purpose. It can be feeling connected with your dharmic path. All right. I'm seeing the Seven of Swords come up. This can be like things that can get in the way of that, and things that may be like self-fulfilling prophecies from where you're standing. And I'm seeing this come in the form of like confusion or ambiguity for you. Unsure. I'm hearing lack of closure for some. For some of you, this can come in the form of like you thinking that you don't know what's going to like make you happy or bring you happiness within your life, which this is like, it's an interesting topic to bring up. I'm saying this have to do with like relationships, who you're getting involved with, how you're getting involved with them. But it almost feels like maybe something isn't ready to be decided upon, or something isn't meant to be clarified, but just because something hasn't been clarified, you may be like, I'm ready to throw it all away because of that, just because you don't know what something means yet, or yeah, it hasn't been like clarified or cleared up for you. Which is an interesting response. It's like maybe because you feel like things aren't exactly on your terms the way you want it to be, you're thinking about, I don't know, this can even be like thoughts that come up where it's like, shouldn't it be clear by now? Should it be clear by now? I guess it's whatever definition you give to it, or whatever limits you give to it. But don't let the Seven of Swords come up and like confuse you or create doubt when it's unnecessary for it to be there. Let's get further and see. Because there are a couple different situations that could happen, but the thing is that if it were just the Sun and the Ace of Cups, where it's like, okay, we're focusing on a connection of yours, and then we just had also the Seven of Cups and the Lovers, it would be like, what are we? What's going on here? I don't really know how to feel about things. Maybe something happened and you're like, I'm not sure what's going on here. Or just like a lack of clarity that's connected with a relationship of yours. Like, what are we even? Something like that. What's going to happen between us? What are things going to be between us? What's that going to look like? What's that not going to look like? But because the Seven of Swords is here, this can mean that there's like something being perpetuated or something even that can slip through that can kind of like sully the situation. The word sully is coming through. So instead of being like, okay, well, like right now we're in the chaos of it, we're in the void of it, we're in the, like, I don't know what's going on here, and I'm just going to be okay with that happening here. Rather than being like that, there can be thoughts creeping up like, what does it mean that we don't have clarity here? Why don't you know how you feel already? You know, it feels like not being okay with the situation as it is, and then having these thoughts come in where it's like panic, like you got to fix it now, you got to do something about it now, rather than just being able to rest within this, okay, so we don't know what's going on right now and I'm just going to be okay with that, you know. So this is like your intrusive thoughts coming through, coming to light. Things are changing within your connection is what I'm seeing, and maybe that's why things are... I feel like at this point you may be associating like ambiguity with things with like bad, which it's not. That's like an association that you're making with this. So that's something to keep in mind as well. Like, just because something may not be clear or it may not be known at this point, or you may be unsure about something, or you don't know where things are going to go, it doesn't mean that it's bad. You're assigning a value to that. Because I'm seeing like this connection that you have, there is a big change that's happening, like monumental. To have the death card here, this means that the way things looked before between you and this person, or your relationship with this thing, because like the lovers doesn't always have to be a person. It can be like your relationship to an activity that you like to do. Like for many of you, this can be a person. That's how it's going to be like symbolized throughout the experience within your life. For some of you, it can be something else. It can be like your relationship to, I don't know, like an animal, or we can have relationships with anything. It's you and another thing that you're perceiving as being outside of yourself for the sake of the human experience. So anyway, coming back to it, what I'm getting is that like the way that the relationship looks now, or has previously been looking, there's something happening here where when it comes out on the other side of this transition, it's going to look very, very different. So things are not going to be the same. So, and you may sort of be trying to find your footing within that. Like, what does that mean now? What does that look like? But I'm really interested in the Seven of Swords being here and what that means for you, because I almost get it like to have the Sun and to have the Ace of Cups. This is like, okay, there is a connection here, but then having the Seven of Swords come up, this can be like doubt coming through, where it's like, why are you questioning when you already know that there's a connection and there's something going on? Whatever that connection may be, there is something here. There is a connection here. And the Seven of Swords I'm seeing is bringing like some sort of doubt or confusion that's connected with you and this person. So it's like, why are we questioning the connection when I'm seeing it's already like obvious and clear, abundantly clear that there's a connection here? But I'm seeing like the Seven of Swords come through, and that's when things get confusing. Like there was no issue with the connection before. Now this comes through, and it's like those thoughts or that insecurity, or like whatever this is for you that makes you be like, was my intuition not right? Am I not picking up on the right stuff? It's like creating doubt. It can be like these sneaky little thoughts that pop up too, that have you thinking like something is wrong, or something's gonna happen, or feeling scared, is somebody gonna like betray me? You know, all of the ways that this can manifest. Some of you, it's going to manifest as like paranoia, or you think something's wrong when nothing's wrong, or you're misinterpreting what it is that you're picking up on. Or it can just be insecurities, like what's wrong with this person that they like me, you know, like whatever it looks like for you. Each of us, this wears a different face, and sometimes it alternates as well. So whatever like your thing is that pops up, that's connected with your beliefs associated with self, That's the face that it's going to wear when it peeks out and says hi to you. And I'm seeing like that's the genesis of whatever this like issue is that's coming up. That's like not an issue at all, but it's something mentally that's going on here for you. And to have the sun and to have Scorpio and also to have Gemini, like what the sun is going to do is the sun is going to put like a spotlight, a focus, and like an enhanced energy on whatever it's focusing on. To have the sun connecting with Gemini, that means that there can be like Geminis can, the archetype of Gemini, which all of us have, there can be like being prone to overthinking already. So having the sun be there, it's like all of these thoughts that are going on that keep circulating like over and over and over again, like it just does not turn off, it doesn't stop. And then also to have the sun connected with Scorpio, this can be bringing up fears and doubts and this the like dichotomy of power and control and submission. It can bring up paranoia for you. Those are like the shadow sides of these two energies, when there's like too much exertion put on that, when there's too much sun energy on it, when it's too much focus, it basically gets like magnified with the sun. And so these are things that may be popping up for you. To have the death card also, to have the death card and the Queen of Wands here, there may be like a reinventing of yourself that you're doing here, or a shedding of yourself that you're doing, however you want to look at it. But this can be you coming out on the other side of this. And well, I mean, to have the Queen of Wands come out after the Death card, this means like even though you're going through a kind of like trickier, challenging change right now within a relationship that you have, you come out in a place where I'm seeing you are feeling more like maybe better about yourself, more connected with yourself in an authentic way. But again, I'm seeing this Seven of Swords here, and that can mean you doubting that. This could be affecting your self-esteem as well, or just affecting. It can be a trigger for you, but triggers are a good thing because it means that it's bringing up stuff that's just already there, you know? Like a trigger is not going to be active unless there's something there for it to connect with, and so you're just learning more about yourself as you're moving through this. I don't normally do this, but I'm actually going to read these court cards as two different people because this does very much seem like it's in the environment of a relationship. Because of changes, okay, this person that you're dealing with, you see them very much as like a match for you. You feel like they match your energy in a lot of ways. I'm seeing the King and the Queen of Wands. So this is like a very passionate relationship that you have with this person. You may feel like it brings up and out a lot of feelings for you. There can be like a lot of attraction that you have, like a lot of magnetism. You guys feel like you are constantly like drawn towards one another. What I'm seeing is that there are changes that are happening within the dynamic, and I'm seeing that it's actually causing friction between the two of you because of the changes that are happening. So it's like, I don't know if just one party is growing and that's why there's an issue. It seems more like both parties are actually growing, but they may be changing in a way where there's like conflict now between you and this person, because it's like before I feel like we were so much like in a different place. I feel like we were more compatible, and now because of the changes that you're going through, you may find that there's conflict to be worked out, which means that there can be like compromise where you're like, no, I can compromise on this and be okay with it. Or you're finding out that there may be like irreconcilable differences between you and this person. But that's just going to depend on what you two decide. What you decide, what they decide, and what happens when you guys are connecting with one another and collaborating within your relationship. But right now I'm definitely seeing tension. You may also, if you're associating yourself, if you're identified with the Queen of Wands within this, you may not trust this person. You may feel a lack of trust for them. And that may be confusing for you. But the interesting thing about the Seven of Swords is that the Seven of Swords comes back to our relationship with ourselves. And so when you know that you're in full trust with yourself, the Seven of Swords, you're never worried about, well, actually, for those of you that like aren't super familiar with what the Seven of Swords means, it can mean like being betrayed or sabotaging something, or somebody being dishonest with you in some way, or doing something sneaking around where it's like, I feel like I have to watch you all the time, otherwise like I don't trust what you're doing when we're not together, stuff like that. But the thing is that if you're in a space where you're in full trust and full honesty with yourself, if and when the Seven of Swords pops up and you perceive it to be another person, you don't spend that time worrying about it, because you know when somebody's lying or not. Like when you're in a space where you're completely in full trust with yourself and you are following along with that, where you are like totally in alignment with your integrity and your values, you will be like, okay, I feel like you're not being honest with me, and I trust myself and I know that, and so I'm gonna cut this off. However, sometimes when we go against what our intuition is telling us, it can leave room for us being like, do I trust you? Do I not trust you? Can I get over this? Can I not get over this? I don't know if something happened in the past between you and this person, or like what exactly this is. It does feel like this is linked to something. But like, does it have to do with this person? Does it have to do with something that happened between you and another person? Like, where is this coming from? But it's something that needs to be dealt with, and it's coming up to be dealt with now at this point. Because this is such an emotional issue, I feel like those of you that have like Aquarius rising, multiple Aquarius placements, Aquarius moon especially, or Aquarius Venus, I feel like you're really going to resonate with this if you have those placements. Aquarius sun too, depending on where your sun is, potentially. But yeah, I'm seeing it be like hard for you to decide like how you feel towards this person, because you don't necessarily trust them, which is interesting that you're in a dynamic with somebody that you feel this way about. But as I was saying before, like the Seven of Swords, it can't touch you if you are being completely honest with yourself. Because some of us, we may be with somebody and they've done something to really betray our trust, and we don't feel like they've actually changed. And we're actually not okay with the fact that we're staying in a relationship with them. And that's why we feel paranoid all the time. That's why we feel unsettled all the time. That's why we're having panic attacks all the time. So that's also something to look into. Because the Seven of Swords, it's not going to be a problem if you're being honest with yourself. If you're like, no, I can't get over this, or no, I don't believe that you've changed. No, I really don't trust you. And I can't be in a relationship with somebody that I don't trust. And so this isn't going to work for me. I still love you. However, being in a relationship with you, like, it's not healthy for me, you know? And whatever it is for you, whatever you decide. But it's something to look into, because at this point, it's like it's creating a bigger and bigger issue. What's interesting too is that I'm seeing there be actually like a mutual lack of trust between the two of you, even though you may put this on one person. You may be like, it was because of you that all of this started, but I'm seeing it's mutual. The like, where do you stand? Where do you stand between the two of you? I'm seeing it be a mutual thing. But again, I'm getting that for some of you, you may just assign it only to the other person. Now, who has cause to not trust the other person? Who knows? Everybody's opinion is valid, right? Everybody has a different perspective of what's going on here. What I find interesting about this is that when we find ourselves in an experience that's unpleasant, it's always interesting, like watching somebody or ourselves that are choosing to experience that, because it's all a choice that we're experiencing, that we're choosing to experience something. So it's like, why do you want to be experiencing this right now? Like, what are you getting out of it? What do you want to learn from it too? Like, what do you hope to like soak in from this experience, that this is something you've been drawn to experience. Because those of you that you're like, I only want to be in relationships with people that I have like full trust with, and full trust outweighs just having simply like chemistry or a connection with somebody. I really need that. You're not going to mess around with something like this, or you're going to rectify it in some way. I'm just getting that it really needs to be rectified actually, so it can stop rearing its head at this point. Because it does not look like you're having a good time. And it is something that can be rectified, but the thing is, for some of you, that's going to mean like breaking up or not being in a relationship with this person in the way that you are now anymore, and you may not be in a space where you're ready to accept that. And that's not, there can be alternatives to that, but for some of you, that is the thing here, but you don't want to do that. And that's why this keeps popping up, because there's a misalignment here where you're actually not okay with this, but you're staying in it anyway, because you're not ready to be honest with yourself. And that's why the Seven of Swords is popping up. Because as much as you can look at this person and be like, it's their fault, it's their fault, it's actually your relationship with yourself, because the Seven of Swords is yours, even if you're perceiving it as being on them. Because when you're in full trust with yourself, you don't need to worry, is this person telling me the truth or are they lying, and how do I figure it out? You know. You may also be going through some sort of like stressful event with this person. Like, let's talk about things that can be stressful within a relationship. Having a baby with somebody, getting married, getting divorced, moving, things that are high stress, losing a job, gaining a different job, hours changing with work, somebody falling ill, things like this. Big situations like this create more tension and cause things to come up then. So you may be going through like some sort of stressful transition with this person, where now these things are being brought back up again in a way where they can't really be tucked away anymore. So these things were always there. These things are always underlying. It just brings it forward now. Yeah, I'm seeing, like, for some of you, you may not be in person with this person. You guys may be like messaging back and forth, communicating back and forth, like calling each other. Some of you are in person, some of you are not in person with this person. Maybe like a long distance relationship even, or they're like not next door, or you're not living with them yet for some of you, I'm hearing. So or you guys communicate a lot through technology or some other means that's not like having the person literally standing in front of you. I feel like you're trying to make something happen in what we can call an impossible situation. It's like you're trying to get an outcome from this that's like you don't have the ingredients to make that sort of recipe here. Because what I'm seeing is you being in a spot where there's something that you may feel unwilling to let go, and you're like, but why does this keep popping up? And it's like, because you haven't let it go yet. But you can't just let something go unless you recognize it, process it, accept it. And so this is either going to be your shadow work here. Well, either way, it's going to be shadow work that you do or don't do. But if you don't do it, you're just going to keep running into this problem over and over and over again. And it's going to be the same thing until you choose to integrate it and do whatever needs to do because of that, whatever needs to be done because of that. Okay? So yeah, if you wanted to know why you're feeling stuck and why this keeps coming up, that's why, and that's how you move out of this. All right? Relationship problem solving. Okay, my friends, we are going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everybody for connecting. Thank you for tuning in. I'm wishing everybody love and light and healing, and I hope to catch you guys next time.